Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ashley and I'm an architect in Ontario, and in this video we're going to be talking about how you can log your hours and begin logging your experience for your internship program in architecture. And you can start logging the experience that you gain at a practice, or perhaps you're planning to work this summer at an architectural practice. And if you are enrolled in an accredited master's program, then you can start to log those hours for your experience. Now, when I was doing my master's, I didn't have this option, and you're not allowed to backtrack or backlog hours that you've done before. So if you're interested and you want more information about how to log those hours while you are doing your master's program, then stay tuned and let's get started. So in order to log that experience that you gain during your master's studies, so basically if you're working at an architectural practice during this summer or during the time that you are doing your studies, then you're able to log those hours. Now, of course, there's some eligibility requirements to this, but basically you need to become a student associate. Now, this only pertains to Ontario, so unfortunately I don't think there are other provinces doing this, but in Ontario you could become a student associate and you can begin to log that experience. Now, I mentioned before, but when I was doing my master's program, I think it was during my third year, I was working in a practice and I was not able to log that experience at all, or backlog that experience, because backlogging is not allowed. Now they did make an update to the program and now they have student associates as an option. So once you gain student associate status through the OAA, then you can begin to log that experience. Now again, first you need to be a student associate and then you can log those hours. So if you are planning to work during the summer, or perhaps you're already working at a practice, then I would recommend getting started on the student associate status through the OAA. And I'm going to show you how to get started. So before we get started, we need to be eligible to become a student associate. So there are some requirements. The requirements are as follows. You need to be enrolled in an accredited architecture program. So it has to be an accredited master's degree, and that accreditation needs to be by the CACB or the NAB. So either one. So your master's program needs to be accredited through either the CACB or the NAB. The other thing is you could also be enrolled in the RAIC syllabus. So if you are enrolled in the RAIC syllabus program, you are also eligible for becoming a student associate and logging that experience. Or perhaps you're enrolled in an architecture program that will be granted accreditation. Now, if they're about to gain accreditation, then the program should state that. And if you are in a program that is about to gain accreditation, then you're able to enroll and become a student associate. Now, if you guys are interested in getting to know what are the architecture programs that are in the process of gaining accreditation, then let me know down below if that's something that you'd be interested. So basically, those are the key eligibility requirements in order to be eligible to become a student associate. So what are the benefits of becoming a student associate? Well, the biggest one is you're able to log experience for your internship program. So perhaps, and most likely, everyone that's doing their master's program, they are thinking about becoming a licensed architect. And because of that, it's only fair that during the summer or during your studies, if you are working and gaining that experience, that you're able to log it. So this is a great addition to the program, and I'm really happy to hear that the OAA is considering that experience. Because when I was doing my master's, this was not an option, and when I did become an intern architect after my studies and finishing my master's, I wasn't able to backlog that experience because backlogging isn't allowed. So this gives it an opportunity to log that experience when you are doing your master's program, which is great. Now, there is a bit of a caveat to it. You can only log 760 hours, so there's a cap to how much you can log, but still, that is pretty good. I think that's definitely a benefit and definitely an improvement to the program. You'll be also getting additional benefits, like you're going to be able to also participate in group insurance through the OEA, and you're going to have some OEA benefits. So this is a good opportunity to get involved with the OEA too and start to build up toward becoming a licensed architect. So now let's talk about the requirements. So what are the requirements to becoming a student associate? Now, of course, you're going to need a supervising architect. So similar to the intern architect, you need a supervising architect. That supervising architect is going to direct you on a day-to-day basis. So your supervising architect is going to be at the practice in which you work, and they're going to be working with you on a day-to-day basis, and they're going to guide you and so on, and supervise you, of course. And they, of course, need to be an architect. They need to be licensed, so they need to be an OEA architect to do that. You'll also need a mentor, and your mentor needs to be outside of the place you work. Those are the two key requirements you'll need to become a student associate. So you need your mentor and your supervising architect. And there are some additional requirements, which let's take a look at the OEA website and review those requirements. So you need to log into the OEA website. So let's do that. So here on my screen, I'm sharing with everyone my screen here. So you need to log into the OEA website. So here it is. You need to go under registration and licensing. And then once you're under registration and licensing, you have these options here, and you're going to go into student associate. So click on that, and now you've entered the student associate page. So we've already gone through the eligibility requirements stated here, and we're going to be going into the application process, and we're going to go through the forms as well. So stay tuned. But before we go into that, let's go into just further requirements. So we talked about some of the benefits of the program. But before you get started as well, so you need to have a mentor and supervising architect. Also need to have one more additional thing. So you need your mentor, supervising architect, but you also need a minimum of 60 credit hours in your enrollment of your master's program. And you need to fill out a form for that. So let's take a look here. So as you can see here, you need a minimum of 60 hours. You need a minimum of 60 credit hours in courses that contribute to the student performance criteria for the accreditation. So you need, as a student associate, you must have your academic institution complete this declaration form to confirm that you've successfully completed the 60 hours in your enrollment for your master's. So you would click on that form, and you're gonna have to do this with the school that you're currently enrolled. And they're gonna have to fill out this sheet. So they're gonna verify that indeed you have the 60 credit hours completed. And so they would sign this form to give that confirmation to the OEA in order to become a student associate. So once you filled out this form, then you're able to then fill out the main student associate form and go through the application process. So you should first get that those hours approved by the accredited program that you are enrolled, and then go for the application form. So let's click on the application form and let's get started. So of course there is no fee for this, which I think is great, because as a student you are on a very tight budget, right? So there's no fee associated to becoming or maintaining your student associate status. And so you have a few application options here. If it is your first time, and if you do not have an OEA login, then you would go with the first option. But if you do have an existing OEA login, you would go with the second. And if you are reapplying for status, then you would go for the third option. But let's just go with the first option. And so here you would fill out your personal information, your residence, and so on. Oh, I can't go on to the next page. I can't go forward to show you the full application, but that is how you would go about it, and then you would just fill out your information, and then that would go through the OAA and they would verify everything and so on. So you need to fill out 2 forms. You have to do the application form, and you also need to do the form for your university to get 60 credit hours approved. So they would sign off and indicate yes and confirm that yes, you have completed the 60 credit hours, and so they would fill that out on that form. So you need them to kind of fill that out, and then you would send that with your application for becoming a student associate, and then they will give you the stamp of approval, and then you can start logging your hours. And then of course, once you start logging your hours, it's a similar process to being an intern architect. You need to log it into the CERB, the Canadian Experience Record Book, and you can do that online, which is great because it's a lot easier than what it used to be, because you used to have to do it all manually, note it on a piece of paper or through the form. You would have to fill out this summary form here that you can see, and then you would have to indicate the projects, and then you would record just the project information for each one, and then you would record the hours that you've gained for that project under programming and so on. And now you can do this all online, which is a lot easier even to collect the signatures from your supervising architect and mentor. And given that we are in a current pandemic, it makes it even easier to, of course, because we need to social distance, to collect those hours. To collect those signatures. So it makes it a lot easier than going, kind of door by door to collect those hours and to get them signed on a piece of paper. It's very similar to this form, but it's more of an online format. And of course, you would of course sign it off yourself, and then your supervising architect would provide comments, and then your mentor would also sign off on your hours as well. So it's a very similar process to that of an intern architect. So this is great practice as a student associate. You're kind of getting warmed up. Once you do finish your school, you can then become an intern architect, and then continue building all those hours and logging in those hours for your book. Now, of course, it's also important to note that you can only record 760 hours, so there is a cap to it, but honestly, I don't think that is too much of a drawback. I still think that this is a great program, and to have this option to log these hours is tremendous. I think you should take advantage of it. And so if you are planning to work during the summer, make sure to become a student associate to log those hours. Now, let's say you're indecisive and you're not sure if you want to become a licensed architect. It does not hurt to log these hours and become a student associate, because they will be in the system, and from what I know, they don't expire. So you can have it in the system, you can log the hours, and then once you graduate, if you decide that you do not want to continue on the path of becoming an architect, you would like to do something completely different, or within the field, for example, you want to go into construction law or specification writing, or you want to specialize on any other particular thing in the field of architecture, and you're no longer interested in becoming a licensed architect, then you can just have those hours there and you don't have to worry about it. But then if you do decide to become an architect, you at least have that 760 hours logged, or whatever amount you got logged, but at least it's something, because you cannot backlog hours. So you can't go back, but if you are in the moment and you are thinking about it but you're not sure, you might as well log it, have it in your books, and then you can kind of decide and see where you want to go from there. But at least you have it there, and you might as well do it. And it's free. The OAA is not charging any fees for it, which is great. So I don't see a reason why not to do it. So if it was me, and when I did my master's, I was a bit indecisive to get licensed, I would have done it myself. If I had the option to log the hours for my summer internship, then it would have been great. If you want more information about how to become an intern architect, then I would check out this video here. If you're interested in that process, and if you're interested on my journey of becoming an architect, which was a 15-year journey, you may want to check out this video here as well. And of course, if you got value out of this video, make sure to like the video, and if you want to see more content, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next video. Till then, bye!